Hi, everybody. Today we're going to talk about Chapter 9, which is about cognitive development and early childhood education. So we always start with fact or fiction, and the first one is preoperational intelligence is symbolic and self-centered, and this is actually true. Number 2, a 3-year-old is likely to believe that the same amount of ice cream is actually more when it is transferred from a large bowl to a small bowl. And this is true, and we're going to explain this why as you progress through the chapter. Number 3, most 3-year-olds can picture someone having a different belief about where an object is hidden. This is actually false. And number 4, a young child who says, you cummed up and hurted me is demonstrating a lack of understanding of English grammar. And this is actually false as well. According to Piaget, if a child responds that one glass has more liquid than the other, that child focuses on one idea, the concept of centration, ignores other attributes, the concept of appearance, and notices only the immediate condition, the concept of static reasoning, and doesn't understand how to revert the process and recreate the liquid's level from a moment earlier, the concept of irreversibility. Piaget was correct. Young children are not as logical as adults or older children, but he didn't realize how much they actually do understand. And you'll notice I actually have put into the class lecture, you'll see me doing this experiment with my children. And in a week or so, I'm going to actually do the test again because it's April, and I do it every April with my younger one. So we'll see if he figures it out yet. According to Vygotsky, children learn because their mentors present challenges, offer assistance but without taking over, add crucial information, and encourage motivation. A verbal example of scaffolding is when a child's question is answered with details that build vocabulary and understanding. For instance, what is that? That is a hose. Hose. What do you think's inside of it? That's right, water's inside. We use the hose to clean the sidewalk and water the flowers. See, in these pictures, it's demonstrating someone scaffolding with the children. And it's all about the social learning. Children seem to figure out why adults act as they do before deciding to copy these actions. Children are likely to follow an adult's example if something the adult attempts is successfully achieved. Children also develop theories before they employ their impressive ability to imitate. So what do children ages 3 to 5 ask questions about? 47% is human behavior, 31% biology, 9 objects, 9% non-living natural things, and 4% other. And theory, the idea that children attempt to explain everything they see and hear by constructing theories. In order to have a theory of mind, children must realize that other people are not necessarily thinking the same thoughts that they themselves are. That realization is seldom possible before age 4. So this young child would say that Max will think the bone is in the blue bowl. Piaget would point out that preschool children focus on appearance and static conditions. Also, they're egocentrics, believing that everyone shares their perspective. So now what happened is the cat went and took the bone and moved it to the red bowl. So the young child still thinks that people are going to think that's in the blue bowl. What is the word for each of these? Egocentrism is an asset when it comes to fast mapping. If a child knows what a horse is, it's easy for that child to say horse for any animal that is fast mapping in that category of an animal. So the next picture is a camel, and children would say that that's a horse because it has four legs, just like a horse does. The next one, the zebra, they would also fast map as a horse. Some would be true. Some say of a child who knows house structures for residence, from a hut to a tent to an igloo to a manor, could easily be fast mapped as house. Children do not worry that they might be wrong. They center on their own concepts. Not worrying about making an error is important because it enables acquiring new words. When these errors are corrected, the mapping allows the new words to be learned at least by category, while the exact definitions are not yet quite refined. At age 2, a child may know between 100 and 2,000 words. By age 3 and 4, the amounts might arise to 5,000 and 10,000 respectively. Some 5-year-olds might know up to 20,000 words. These great leaps are referred to as vocabulary explosion. Learning each aspect of language, such as grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation, follows a particular developmental path, partly because parts of the brain myelinate at specific rates, and every language has both easy and difficult constructions. Some children are relatively quiet because they inherit that tendency, but experience determines which words and grammatical constructions they understand. So how do children make nouns plural? Mouse. We know the correct plural would be mice, tooth would be teeth, leaf would be leaves, and sheep would be sheep. But what young children often do is mouse would be mouses, tooth would be tooths, leaf would be leafs, and sheep would be sheeps, because that is what they're, that over-regularization. Neuroscience finds that young bilingual children cite both languages in the same areas of the brain, yet manage to keep them separate. A child is more likely to become fully balanced bilingual if exposed to both languages daily during the crucial ages 2 to 6. In 2010, in the United States, 20% of school children spoke one language at home and English at school, with 75% of that 20% also speaking English as well. And balanced bilingual is a person who's fluent in two languages, not favoring one over the other. Montessori schools emphasize individual pride and accomplishment, presenting literacy-related tasks. Reggio Emilia approach is a famous program of early childhood education that originated in the town of Reggio Emilia, Italy. It encourages each child's creativity in a carefully designed setting. And this is such a quickie synopsis of just some early childhood programs. There are so many different curriculum out there. And these are child-centered or developmental programs, and they support child development by encouraging children to follow their own interests rather than adult direction. Many teacher-directed programs were inspired by behaviorism, which emphasizes step-by-step learning and repetition. Praise and other reinforcements are given for good behavior, and timeouts are imposed to punish misbehavior. So teacher-directed programs stress academics, and they're usually taught by one adult to a group of children. And coming from an early childhood field, it's not something we actually necessarily think is a good way for children to learn. Early research findings were not consistent, but a last wave of numerous studies have shown that in England as well as the United States, early education definitely helps disadvantaged children. 2 years in the intensive high-scope preschool program changed the lives of dozens of children from impoverished families. The program had a positive impact on many aspects of their education, early adulthood, and middle age. You can't see the results on the graph, but the study also reveals that girls who attended high scope fared much better than boys. So what are the 5 W's of the Head Start is when from 1965 to present, where the United States of America, who the federal government and legislation, why it was originally intended to lift families out of poverty, and what its federally subsidized Head Start programs, which unfortunately in this day and age are being cut. So what did longitudinal research reveal about a preschool program in Michigan? If you look, children who were in a program had a higher percentage than children that attended no program in terms of graduating from high school, earning $20,000 more, and actually had a lower percentage of being arrested, 5 times by 40. So that is the end of our chapter, and I'd like you to go into the forum now and discuss the ramifications of poverty on cognitive and physical development. Thanks.